Welcome to Fuel Up Classic in 2023. Now, I only started this channel about 6 months ago, and to my surprise, over 4,000 people have already subscribed to it. I know it's a tiny number in massive YouTube world where people have hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but truthfully, in such a small amount of time, I'm so glad that we're getting a following on the channel, and you guys seem to really be enjoying the videos because I love showing my passion for classic cars. I've grown up around them, and I love showing the different variety, the unique stuff, the modern classics, some of the really old stuff to come as well. So I thought I'd do a quick recap video on the cars that I've covered so far, and also talk about what's planned for this year, because there's lots of exciting developments for the channel. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. It makes all the difference, and there's loads of classic car content on the way throughout the year. So if I'm doing a roundup of the videos so far and the cars I've featured, I have to start with by far what's been the most popular video. And I'm really happy to say it's one of my own cars. I've been lucky enough to live with it for a couple of years, and it's always had been a childhood dream to own one. So it's probably coming into a third year of ownership now, and it is of course the Bentley Arnage. Nearly 200,000 of you have watched that video, hundreds of comments. So if you haven't seen it already, go back, and it's a fairly comprehensive video of what it's like to live with what I think is a massively undervalued, unappreciated, and also just misunderstood luxury car. But I'm going to feature that car a lot more. Last year was a little bit quiet for the Bentley. It didn't really come out that often. I was busy doing filming, busy doing other things. But this year, I really want that to change. You seem to have really enjoyed seeing that car, so I'm going to feature it more on the channel. We're going to do some trips with it, and I'm going to give you the reality of what it's like to live with such a big, luxurious car, the highs and the lows. And of course, it comes at times considerable expense, and I'm going to be documenting that as well. So there's more detail, more trips to come on that Bentley Arnage. But from one massive British luxury saloon to another car that I really enjoyed featuring on the channel last year was the Daimler Double Six. I still think to this day it's by far the cheapest way into a beautiful British V12 saloon for still sensible money. Yes, they can throw up massive bills if something goes wrong, but overall they really aren't that bad, and prices on them are really starting to climb. They've been rock bottom for many, many years, but that car in particular, the Series 1 all the way through to the Series 3 cars, are really, really great, gaining quite a lot of traction. So if you're interested in a big 12-cylinder saloon car from the 70s and 80s, watch that video, go back and see what you think, and let me know in the comments below. Now, one video for me personally that stands out amongst the others that I've done for the channel is when we took my Defender 90 on a 2,000-mile, 10-day road trip through France. It really was something that I wanted to prove to myself, but also the internet is full of people that just say Defenders are only suitable for pottering around on a farm, they're no good for long distance. And I kind of wanted to prove that wrong, because I think it's complete rubbish. People have taken those cars all around the world. So really a 2,000-mile trip through France in the middle of one of the hottest heat waves we've had in a century in Europe seemed like a good test to me. And we had a fantastic time. No air conditioning, 40+ degree heat at times, but couldn't care less. The car did everything we asked of it, on and off road, and I look forward to doing some more trips. That mini trip really has inspired a lot more plans for the channel, and also for one of my Land Rovers. I'm lucky enough to own a few of them, but I really want your help to say, which one would you like to see turned into a sort of semi-overland build on the channel? It's an idea I've been thinking of for a little while. I want to do more trips. For me, it's got to be a Land Rover. And my strong contender is the Discovery. Bought on a whim last year. I did a quick video, and it's been really positive at how forgotten these cars are, but they're starting to climb in popularity once again after being so cheap for so long. So I wonder whether this old Discovery behind me will make a great overland trip vehicle. So if you'd like to see it on the channel as I build it and as we do things with it, let me know. Or if you'd rather see a Defender or my Range Rover Classic do the same, let me know that as well. Another real standout car from last year was that Burberry Jaguar XJS, one of just 2 built for Burberry themselves. It was a real privilege to get behind the wheel of that car. But that video was really all about showing just in general the things to look out for on an XJS, a car that's rapidly appreciating in value. People are really starting to get those cars, spend big money restoring them, and we all knew a time when E-Type Jaguars were cheap. I'm sure the XJS is going to go the same way. I loved that car, one of 2 only ever produced, extremely special, and I look forward to showing much more unique cars like that on the channel as this year goes on. And in this roundup video, I really have to talk about a car that surprised me the most. And it really was a car that I'd given no thought to whatsoever before. I'd been aware of them, I thought they were a little quirky, a little obscure, but never been behind the wheel. And that was the Fiat Coupe Turbo. And I have to say, what a delight that car was. Still cheap to buy, but surely they can't be for much longer. That engine is an absolute joy. Plenty of power, quirky styling that actually, if you start to really look at it, it's such a cool car. And I can't wait to get behind the wheel of one of them again. I found out that it was super practical, and still less than £5,000 will pick you up a good example. £9,000 for the absolute best. It's a bargain, and by far it was my biggest surprise of 2022. It seems now, recapping on this video, that we've crammed quite a lot in just to 6 months of making content for this channel. But I got to drive 2 of my dream classic cars as well, and not just short drives. I lived with these cars for a considerable amount of time and covered some mileage to try and give the best overall genuine view of what they're like. And the first one was the 2-door Range Rover. That's been a car that I've always wanted to be behind the wheel. I own a 4-door Classic, but the 2-door for me is the daddy. They are cars that are rapidly appreciating in value, and it's a car that's always escaped me. The values have just gone through the roof, that really they're no longer that easily obtainable without paying a huge amount of money. So it was a privilege to live with that car. Super special, design icon, and I really hope to get my hands on one further down the line and show more content on what a special car the 2-door Range Rover is. And speaking of special cars, well, they don't really come much more special, for me at least, than a Jaguar XK 150. I know the E-Type gets all the attention, but the XK for me was the car that started it all. And it's so hard to believe, after driving that car in that short video, how it was 70 years old, but still performed so well, still looked stunningly elegant from every angle. What a car. Can't wait to feature things like that more. And if you haven't seen that video, go back and give those a watch as well. It's quite hard to think back now because we're in the middle of winter here, but we had a fantastic summer in the UK, and that gave me the opportunity to test drive a load of classic convertibles, which is a rare thing. We don't often get great weather, but I got to live with some great cars back to back. The MGA, a stunning car, massively undervalued really for what they are, hugely easy to live with, easily supported by so many groups and clubs worldwide. Fantastic car, loved every second of being behind the wheel. And I then got behind another sort of common classic, I suppose you could call it, the Triumph TR6, a car that's still in demand now, still obtainable, there's plenty of them out there, but it's the last proper Triumph sports car. 6-cylinder, rear-wheel drive, great engine note, looks fantastic, cheap and easy to keep on the road. Loved every second of it, great car, want to feature more Triumphs on the channel as we go through this year as well. It's my plan with the channel to continue with featuring an absolute variety of classic cars, from modern classics all the way through to really old stuff, but I really enjoy showing the quirky side of classic cars, the eccentric ones that perhaps you've never heard of. And they really don't get much more of a symbol of British eccentricity than the Marcos Mantara. It's a Bugatti blue coloured V8 mad hand-built sports car that they made such tiny numbers. You've probably never even heard or seen one before. I've only done one video so far and I want to feature that car so much more this year. It's really special. And I've got an idea to pitch it against what I think might have been its closest rival in the 1990s, the TVR Chimera, a car that's very similar but also quite different in a lot of ways. So look out for that video as well, as I feature far more on the TVR and the Marcos as well, and we'll put them together and see how they compare against each other. And that brings me swiftly on really to what is going to be the first feature car of 2023 on the channel. It's a car that I can't quite understand why it hasn't appreciated when so many other of its rivals and modern classics have appreciated year on year. It's a car that has a slightly sketchy reputation, and I really want to find out whether that's justified, or actually it's just the internet talking a load of rubbish from people that have never owned one, and they're just relaying stories of people that heard a story in the pub years ago of how they're awful. It is, of course, the Maserati 4200. A car with a Ferrari-derived V8, a genuine four-seater, stupidly fast even today, great looking, but you can pick one up from as little as £12,000. I thought it's got to be worth a punt, so I'll do a series of videos and see what it's like to actually live with one. The genuine highs, the lows, the unexpected bills, all of those things that can come with having a cheap exotic car. So follow that journey. I'm also going to be bringing in what I think is a modern classic in the making. It's 20 years old, it's done 157,000 miles, and it's in need of a bit of TLC. Well, we're going to bring that car back up to standard, save another classic rather than take it off the road, and just enjoy the process. I'll be documenting it, and I'll give you a full review of the car as well. So there's loads to look forward to on the channel, in between the project cars, the living with some of my own cars. There'll be a mass of classic cars featured on the channel as well, with genuine reviews that I hope people find interesting and informative. So if you haven't subscribed already, please do. And I look forward to creating a whole year of content and you guys coming along for the journey as well.